Yeah, there we go. There we go. Okay. Welcome to April group class of Groove Cello Academy. We've got several people here tonight. This is great. A few of you are from Creative Strings Academy, so welcome. We're super glad you guys are here. And most of us are, of course, from Groove Cello Academy, which is where we learn to be great jamming cellists, improvising cellists, creative cellists. And this month, particularly April, and so tonight's group class and Fridays as well, focusing on accompanying, arranging, being a great side cellist. And if you're a fiddle player with us tonight or playing another instrument, creative strings in general, side cello is, I mean, you can play that role as a side fiddle player as well, right? It's gonna really, there's gonna be a lot of crossover there as far as things we're considering, right? And so we're thinking about this stuff all month. So we're gonna kind of have an overview of this stuff tonight. And so I've prepared this track for us. There's actually a vocal line for us as well. If you had a chance to grab the charts for tonight's class, they are in the Google Drive. If you are a guest with us tonight, or if you're an Academy member, then you have access to that page. But I'm gonna, I'm not sure if Tina's here yet, so I'm gonna jump over and grab that link really fast if I can and try to run my mouth for a minute to be the least awkward possible while I try to multitask. It's not my strength, y'all, but here we go. I got the link. Okay, cool. We're copying the link. Here we're coming back to the Zoom meeting. Gonna drop it in the chat. But Tina was there first. Hot dang. Okay, better link. Yes, the better link that she said. Yes, I am, and there it is. Yes, she's all over it. Okay, solid. Thanks, Tina. Sorry, I doubted you. Okay, so we're here. It's April group class, and I'm just gonna close out a browser window just to like suck less bandwidth. Okay, great. So what we're doing tonight is we're in the key of D minor Dorian a little bit, right? So if you have your scales for D-rooted keys sheet, that's your cheat sheet for the key. You don't necessarily need that, but that's your cheat sheet for the key, right? So D minor, of course, is the same as C major, but B's are flat. But when we go to D Dorian, we take our sixth scale degree, which is that B, and we put it back up, right? If you think of every tone in a 7-note scale as a light switch, most of them have just two settings, up and down, right? And so when we think about that B flat, B natural, it's like down is the flat and natural is the up. And so in Dorian, the sixth scale degree is up. And so if you're looking at your stuff that you've got for tonight, have your black as the color lead sheet handy, because we're going to be referencing that a ton. Even in our warm-up here at the very beginning of class, we're going to be considering what's the difference between playing in D minor and D Dorian. Well, when you hit a G-rooted chord in D Dorian, it's going to be a G major, because it's got a B as its color tone, right? If you were just solidly in G minor, or D minor, excuse me, it would be a G minor with a B flat. Right? So what we're going to do, I'm going to put the track on, and the first half of the tune is D Dorian, because it does encounter a G major chord in bar, what is it, 7, bar 7, it lands. So you'll see the little parenthetical bar numbers, and we'll get to that in a minute, but yeah, the G chord is on measure 7 there. So let's put, I'm going to put the track on again with no vocal, and we're going to do some warm-ups. And I'm going to lose this sweater because it's a little toasty in here. So I don't know how it is by you all, but over here in Colorado, it's been uncannily humid and rainy, etc. lately. So and so it's been all over the map as far as being comfortable or being uncomfortable. Okay, getting cables. If y'all are using over-ear headphones, you've got to have a super long cable, right? Okay, great. Here we go. All right. So we're going to warm up. We're going to warm up in D Dorian, and then we're going to switch to D minor when the chart switches to D minor, which is actually the same as F major, right? 1 flat. And so we're going to go ahead. You can switch your brain however you like to switch it, right? When that time comes. But after last month where we were talking about blues and jazz, and we're trying to get our brains nimble, where we're ready to switch keys in the middle of a tune. And this tune switches keys subtly, right? Just goes in the key of F in the middle, and you see that B flat chord and a C and an F, back to the B flat, before it goes to D minor again. So you can just think D minor, D Dorian, D minor, D Dorian, or you can think F major if you prefer. It kind of sounds like F major in that middle section. So cool. I'm going to put this on, and let's run a D Dorian scale all the way up and down. We're going to start at the top. It's just all naturals, right? So let's hit that. We're going to hear past me count us off. And, let's see. Sorry, I have a note from my tech assistant. No, I got it. Thank you. Appreciate that. But yeah, we got it. Cool. So here we go. Hitting a D Dorian scale, it's all naturals, starting on a high D and going down. If you're a fiddle player, you pick your lane, right? You're going to run out of notes. You turn around and you'll play some kind of weird harmony with me. If you want to start on an F, you'll definitely be in a harmony with me as we do this. That'll get you a little more range on your fiddle. So here we go. Ready, go. All the way down, including the C. Again. With the C. D minor. Back to D Dorian. B natural. Good. Cool. Hopefully with the balance of things, you could kind of hear the tonality shift there in the middle, right? That's where we went to the B flats, B flat chords and C chords and F chords, right? So that those B flats become really important to inflect us into that key, right? Those B flats are important because they pull us down to A's, right? And so that's some of the tug of that key. It's really great. Let's do something a little shorter form. So let's do D minor pentatonics. And then we'll go down. Oh yeah, let's use the low C's because they're awesome. So we can do that. Including the C on the G string. And then, so we'll do upper octave and lower octave. Okay, and we'll switch back and forth with the track. Okay, D minor pentatonic. Upside down valley shape. One, then we're gonna go ba-da-dee-da. 1, 2, oh, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. C. Again. Now down the octave. Ready, and one more time that. Great. Now we're going to do it again, mountain shape. So starting on the bottom. Let's double our tempo because we're warming up. 1, run, 2, sorry. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, go. Again. 2 more. Last one. Now down, starting there, down. Again. Sweet. Okay. Now, let's have our rhythm workouts. We're gonna take a look at our rhythm workouts. We're moving fast through things, by the way, because I want to get on to our arranging material and stuff tonight. But let's jump to. Oh, I'm on the wrong page. We're going to be on double Ds because we're in the D minor, and this is a nice light string pair, middle two strings. Okay, so let's start with number 4. So the first 3 chords that show up on the track, and it's on the chart as well, is it goes D minor, then there's an A minor, back to D minor, and then G. So you can sit on that D and just hold it and just run your patterns, right? But if you would like a level up, track those chord changes, okay? So you can go, and then the A minor. Right? If you're confused at all about where those chords are coming from, the chart that we have in our set for tonight of Black is the Color is our tune. That's the track that we're playing against. So that's our all-night track, 1 track tonight. So you'll hear these chords change, so I'm just calling it out. So anybody who wants to incorporate your chord changes and your rhythm patterns, then let's do that. And if you want to level up even from there, just from chord roots, like find a chord pair. So D, or maybe F and D, and or some other voicing for your A minor chord, right, with 2 chord tones, and then back to your D minor, and then G major, right, G, B, D. Okay, here we go. We're going to let the first little bit of the track run, and we're just going to run number 4, and then we might switch to a number 10. Okay, so take a look at 4, and then take a look at 10. If you've been with us for a bit, you're familiar-ish with these. So here we go. We're going to go, right, here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. Start of the chart right here. Top. Back to the beginning with 10. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, let me stop that. I screwed up the pedals, and so let me take the advantage to, we can regroup. Let's look at 10 for a second, okay? So this is a 2 goes, a set, and another up, right? Set, up, chop, and a release probably, and then a down, right? So it goes down, up, set, up, chop, down, up, set, up, chop, down, up, set, up, chop. If we're a little faster, and this one is, you might find it's advantageous to brush. Right? Brush, set, chop. And if that's a little too spicy for you, you can stay on number 4, right? The chops are going to land the same, so that's nice, right? So let's try that. Number 10 or number 4. Pick your adventure. Here we go. Ready? 1, 2, ready, go. And I stop us just before we change keys and the chords get a little more interesting, and so then we might feel the need to change our D note, right? I think probably the D note is going to feel all right through the whole chart, but Okay, I'm just adjusting camera per a request. 1 second here. It's trickier than one might guess. Cool, try that. Hopefully that's high enough. It looks good on my screen. Okay. I know Zoom kind of presents it differently to y'all. Okay, great. So what we've done is we've done D minor pentatonic, which is great over a key of D minor or D dorian because it excludes Bs, right? So, Jason, thanks for your question. What do I mean by 10? Oh, on the rhythm workouts. Rhythm workouts. So we're on page 2, if that's helpful. That's where the chops are. So rhythm workouts are included with the course, the class materials. The length of my name obscures. Oh, that's so annoying. Thanks, Angie. That's weird. On my screen, it's super tiny. Oh, Zoom joys. I love Zoom. Do. Okay, you guys are great. Thanks for hanging in. Yeah, so Jason, number 10. Hopefully that's clear. The rhythm workouts are included in our class materials. If you didn't get a chance to grab those, they're in the group class page, or Tina dropped a Google Drive link that has the same stuff that our group class page has. I'm just going to the group class page to make sure that it was there. It's like linked there. Yeah, fair enough. I didn't actually drop a copy of it on the page, but the rhythm workouts are linked. I apologize. That's less than clear. Always trying to improve that, you guys. So, oh, thanks, Jason. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's linked there, so you'll be able to grab it, or it's in the Google Drive. Cool. Okay, and back to our regularly scheduled programming because I have faith that Jason can find it. He's a competent dude. So, all right, great. So let's do that one more time just to make sure that everybody is with us. And it looks like I've got a little camera lag, which is the joy of my being. Let me tell you. Here we're switching over to, yeah, we're also actually here on guided practice. Give my little camera a break for a second and then come back. Cool. Here we are back. Guided practice and workout. Cool. Okay. So I'll, per Angie's advice here, I'm gonna like disable my name in the future because y'all don't need that. It's the Zoom name. Cool. Here we are back. Okay, we're gonna run this one more time. We're gonna warm up with some choppy patterns, right? Well, that's super annoying. You just like blocked by the thing. D scales, GCA group class rhythm. Yeah. Yep. The rhythm workouts. It's linked above the lead sheets on that page. Rhythm workouts, and then page 2 is where we are. Yeah, super apologize for that, y'all, if that was confusing to anybody else. Our guests probably had it easier than our our members. Sorry, you guys. Oh shoot, I'll make sure I upload those direct with to the page, a copy to the page. Okay, here we go. We're gonna go, and if you're good on this, feel free to try 11 or 12 as well on page 2 there. Also, so here we go. All right, let's all be ready for, man, that is some serious lag. That's a real bummer. What is up with that? Cool, we're gonna skip. We're gonna go to this other camera. Cool, just bailing on that camera. All right, here we are, friends. This is like the lesser good camera, but it's gonna do it. It's gonna do the job. Cool. Everything looks curvy. I look like a samurai with a curvy sword. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, rhythm workouts. Ready, go. I'm on 4. Here's 10. And 4. And 10. Awesome. Okay, great. Cool. Whew. All right, so if that's gathering any tension for you, make sure you're doing some of these. or these, right? Or these, right? Well, you can sort of see me doing these, right? Take care of your wrists and your forearms. Take care of the shoulders, right? We don't want any tension gathering, so we're cultivating the practice of releasing tension always, especially when we're practicing chops on repeat, right? It's going to gather tension, so do watch out for that, and make sure you're taking care of yourself. Okay, we're going to move on, my friends. Moving on to, let's see, oh, hot second here. There we go. I can see my own class syllabus. How about that? Great. No, it's falling over. Wow, friends, yours truly is a little bit messy tonight. A little bit messy tonight. Great. Y'all, you know, you watch a group class, you attend like somebody's class, and like Chris Howes always has his act together, and it's like Natalie always has her act together, and I feel like the super problem child here. But okay, here we go. We're on big number 3 per your screen, okay? So that's arranging and backups for Black is the Color. So Black is the Color is a traditional tune. There is some question about authorship. If you want to get into that, we can get into that later, which is kind of weird. John Jacob Niles apparently wrote this melody or some other melody to it, and there's some question about that. I'm curious if anybody's got any know-hows or knowledges about that, but it's a little, my research wasn't, I'm not able to quite pin down whether what we're working with tonight is derivative of the traditional or derivative of the 1940s melody from John Jacob Niles, or what the difference is between the two. So I think the guy may have just taken a traditional tune and stamped his name on it and said, I wrote that, which happened quite a bit in the 1800s and 1900s. So if you've got both copies of Black is the Color, so you've got one that is traditional and one that is arranged, right? And so the traditional version is interesting in that, so if I pull it up really quick, here we go. There's, see, that's the traditional version. It's not my favorite layout. One sec. Yeah, I like this. It's a little better. So I'm going to share this to you really quick so y'all can see this. Okay, so just looking at this Black is the Color chart, this is not the one we're working with tonight, and you can see there aren't any chords on it. But you can also see that you know, da da dee da dee da 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 dee da da. That's all exactly like we have on our chart. But then da dee da da dee da da dum da 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 dee. It kind of goes on quickly right here in measure 4, and then quickly here at the end of its strange 2/4 business. That 2/4 bar is traditional. That is from the original melody. And then it goes up at the end, da 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 dum. And that G A B flat, we're in treble clef. That kind of locks us into like a G minor chord there, which I found a real bummer when I was trying to set this in G Dorian. So our chart for tonight is decidedly arranged in that I also stretched out. Let's see. Get us to that chart for a second so we can take a look at that. You have a copy of these, but I'm just pulling them up so we can look at them together on the screen here. I find that helpful. So here's our arranged version. So what I've done is I've stretched out our phrases. You can see this whole extra bar of rests here at the end of each line, right? And I've done that in order to regulate the length of the phrases, partly for us to have a sense of, hey, this feels normal, but also for a sense of, hey, there's space for a side cello to play into, right? And a good side cellist knows when to fill in the gaps between the phrases that the vocalist is singing. Not play over the vocalist, but play into those gaps. So what I want to talk about, I'm going to put this away. I want you all to hopefully reference your own chart if you've got it. I'm going to put this away for a moment. So I want us to talk about 4 roles that cello is going to play in the spirit of arranging in general, okay, and conceiving of like our backup role. 4 roles, and then we're going to that those are sort of like vertical if you think about in an ensemble, right? And then we're going to talk about arranging in terms of like how do you lay out a tune or an arrangement. Okay, I'm going to try to keep this really brief. So bullet points. Okay, 4 roles. The bottom role is what? It's the bass. Okay. Bass is where we're grabbing the fundamental or root of the chord. So on this chart, it's a lot of hitting those bass notes really hard. Right? Maybe, yeah, right. Maybe we get some chords in there, like, but mostly bass is like a lot of single notes, right? Because you're trying to establish the fundamental of, I mean, if you want to get super acoustic-y, physicsy about it, think about the harmonic overtone series. The fundamental lives an octave below the next member of the overtone series. And so we want to have a single note that's going to give you the most clarity in the texture when you're talking about the texture of a whole ensemble. So when we hear this track, you got 2 guitars and a vocal, and then bass would be great to add in there, right? And we spent the last month talking about 2 months ago, I guess, talking about bass lines, right? So that's role number 1 down here. Okay, role number 2 is also a real bread and butter space for us: chords and harmony, right? Where we're expressing chord tones and inner voices in the mid range of the texture. And so that's going to be, I would say that's anywhere from like G to G, right? From like around 100 hertz up to like 400 hertz or something thereabouts, right? That's gross, but like gross meaning just like painting in broad strokes, but because all of this stuff I would consider chords in this range. I would consider mid texture chordal accompaniment stuff. Okay. You're going to hear me doing this stuff. You'll hear Natalie Hawes doing this stuff. Rushad lives in this register a ton. You'll hear lots of cello figures going like, right? You have bass, chord, right? Yeah, and we're leaving alone the chop as percussion. We're leaving that off to the side for a minute. But so bass, chord, mid-chordal harmonic texture, and then harmony line, right, against the melody, right? So that's going to be like in this, if you're like, blah, right? So maybe you might go, da, 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 da. We're looking for notes that would complement the melody, right? And since the vocal on this line is yours truly singing in a baritone register, we're going to keep our harmonies maybe either neatly above or nested quite low to get below the melody. We'll experiment with that. And finally, then we have lead. And I say lead, not melody, because lead sometimes is not melody. Sometimes, especially as a side cello, you're going to be filling in those gaps between the vocal line, right? Da da dee da 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 something words. You're going to fill in something flourishy or melodic, like a little response to the vocal line. And then the vocal is going to come back in, right? So, or as lead, you might also just straight up play the melody. So melody being our fourth and topmost role, okay? Now, I left out percussion because you might argue that there are 5. I didn't want to overwhelm us with 5, but also percussion kind of makes us think, oh, well, let's relegate rhythm to that dude over there, right? But percussion is well, it is actually more than just rhythm, right? There's tone and there's pitch to percussion, and even to our own cello, we're going to look for bass tones and higher tones when we do percussion on the cello. But the mistake I don't want us to make is thinking that that's where we relegate rhythm to. Rhythm is in all these other parts. So I kind of put percussion aside as a, yeah, okay, yeah, now after we've treated these main four, let's consider percussion. So we probably won't do much percussion tonight, although it's pretty fun to, you know, do some hand percussion on the cello. It's pretty fun. So what I want us to do is put this track on for a second and just walk through this chart. And I want you to pick a lane. If you are interested in just getting started here, thinking about, well, how am I arranging or backing up a song like this, then let's stick to bass. You can pluck your bass or you can bow your bass. That's fine. Or if you want to, like, if you're looking at the treble clef part and you're like, gosh, I could use some exercise playing this melody, right? Just reading it off a treble clef and bringing it down an octave. What a great exercise, right? We need to be doing this too. So put yourself there. I'm just going to let this track play once. It's 2.5 minutes. Let it play once and just take a stroll through it. I'm going to let the vocal play in there. What you're going to find is an introduction, a verse, an interlude, another verse, another interlude, and then the third line's going to come back, and that'll be toward the end of the song. We'll finish out the song there. Okay? So check that out. I'll try to narrate for us a little bit as well, but pick a lane and just explore a little bit. Here we go. And then we'll talk about what we're doing. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Is the color of my true love's hair. Her lips are like some rosy fair. The prettiest face and the neatest hands. I love the ground whereon she stands.
Interlude. Go D minor to G major. Back to verse 2 now. Here we go.
I love my love, and well she knows. I love the ground whereon she goes. I shall count my life as well begun when she and I shall be as one.
Here's another interlude, D minor to G major, twice. G. D minor. G. B flat, third line.
The prettiest face and the neatest hands. I love
D minor.
the ground whereon she stands.
Repeat the last line 2 more times.
I love the ground whereon she stands.
One more. Okay, that's the song. Great. Okay, so before we get into real nitty-gritty specifics about what we're going to play, what I'm going to have us play, I hope that was fruitful, just to kind of explore and walk through that, feel the flow and the form of that, the arc. Thinking about arranging, I want us to be thinking about, so I direct music for a church every Sunday. So I have a team of volunteers that comes and I'm training them in musicianship. in vocal arranging, in thinking about how to play their instrument in this sort of role all the time. Various instruments, including guitar, piano, upright bass, mandolin. I've got a banjo player, flute, electric guitar, 2 to 3 vocalists each time. So in all these, no matter what instrument we're on, you want to be wearing your producer hat. And the producer's job is to think about the whole thing all the time. And so you're thinking about, well, when should such and such an instrument enter? What's its role in the arrangement? So as if you're whatever instrument you're sitting behind, most of us are sitting behind cellos, then we're thinking about, well, what does this cello do? What do I do through this instrument well? And what does this song need from me? So that's thinking as a side cellist, right? Thinking as an accompanist, okay. But when we're thinking about the arrangement itself, we've got this basic form of a tune, right? That's just got a verse. It's got 2 lines of text, a little, a secondary line, and then it repeats the first line again. Okay, it's not crazy. It's got a 2/4 bar in it. That's the weirdest thing going on, right? But so how do we arrange that? I want you to think about it like a narrative arc, like you're writing a story. We're telling a story. Or if you want to break it down really organized, think about it like a 5-paragraph essay. This is actually the cleanest way I can think of to think about a great arrangement. You've got an introduction and a conclusion, right? That's your intro and your outro. You got to have some way to think about what are we doing in an introduction? We're setting the tone. We're setting the tone. So what are we doing in that? Are we crashing into it? Maybe. Or are we easing in? What are we doing to create texture, to create sonic atmosphere? That's your introduction. At the end, well, we've told a whole story. Where did we end up? How do we want to land this plane? How do we want to set this thing down at the very end? What kind of sounds? Is the cello in? Is the cello out already? It might not be the last sound involved, right? And then our 3 pieces in the middle, you got to start the song somewhere, right? So when that vocal enters, that's your first main paragraph. You're introducing characters, you're laying the groundwork for, the main big tectonic plates of plot content, but plot isn't really moving yet until the second paragraph. That's where we start to develop. And the third is where it really reaches a climax, right? There's a lot of tension in the third, and we're going to do everything we can to build a lot of tension around wanting to come home. And then we're going to land. And then you have an outro. So, intro, set the stage. Start off your story, develop, get interesting, and then heat it up. And then we land. Okay? This almost, you kind of can't lose with this. Call it a formula if you want, but in application, it's not so detailed as to really get in our way. So working with black as the color, what you're going to find, how I've applied this, is we have 2 chords. We've got a D minor G intro. And then we sing a verse. Then you have, that's your first main paragraph. I'm trying to get this on the screen. Intro. Then your first main thing, right? The first main paragraph is the first verse. Let's kick it up a notch at the second verse, find a way to develop it, make it a little more exciting, increase the energy perhaps. And then we've got the longer interlude and the return of the second half of the verse, right? The return of the B part kind of. That's going to be where we really climax and do something interesting. A lot of times you'll have a bridge to build in this section. You'll return to a chorus if you're in a song that's got a chorus. You might have a double chorus at the end sometimes. And then we're going to have that repeat of that last line, and the outro includes that last tail line that doesn't have a vocal in it, right? We have 3 iterations of our last line at the very end of the song, 2 of which are sung, and the third one is not. So we're going to do something with that, okay? So that's our form, okay? If you want to jot that down, if you haven't been already, or if you want to try to hold that in your head, that's great. But you have intro, verse 1, verse 2, and then the long interlude and the B part, and then outro. Okay, that's just how we're going through it. This is what you're going to hear on the track, and you can use your chart as a cheat sheet for that. So the intro and the interlude are both D minor to G because I'm just like having us live in this Dorian space instead of just kind of a more basic D minor space. And then the longer interlude in the third bit, or the third big bit over here in the climax area, is D minor, G, D minor, G. So it kind of defies, it's not quite a whole third verse. So you'll hear that. But so, okay, I'm going to leave that be. Hopefully you've captured that to some extent. We'll go through it a couple times. Let's talk about play and bass. How do you articulate not just a bass, but let's combine, because we want to have a rich expression of an accompaniment here. So let's get a bass and some mid texture going. This is a basic D minor or standard D minor shape, 1, 1, 2. All right, I've set my bow down. You can feel free to do that too for a moment. We'll pick it up again in a minute. Okay, so we're gonna go up. Boom, boom, boom. You hear it's gonna go boom, dum, gong, dum, gong, 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 gong. A little bit of syncopation. We're not gonna go crazy with the syncopation because we don't want to like fall into a Latin feel. We're just gonna try to keep it light and moving, keep a sense of movement and momentum. That syncopation is great for that. So, can you grab that shape? Boom, boom to the F, E, D, A, D. Repeat. Again, ready, together, 3, go. Great, and we can use that as a basic shape, right? Right, get up to the top note of your chord and walk down a few, cascading down to your root again, right? A minor. Let's try that, okay? When we get to our third line, I'm going to let us go through the form all the way. These go by pretty fast, the B flat to C. So I'm going to suggest that we just kind of truncate that. We might do boom, bing, boom, 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 and then start again, boom, okay? It's just those 4 chords, B flat, C, F, B flat, right? B flat, you can use a bar chord if you want, and a C, maybe C and E, 4, 1, and then F we'll talk about in a minute, but let's just go through this. Let's go through this once. Here we go. So what we're gonna do is, okay, see if you can catch it. We're gonna start at the beginning. I'm gonna let the vocal run as well. So intro is D minor, 2 bars, and then a G. Here we go. 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, D minor. G. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I was completely wrong. It's a full length intro. It goes D minor, A minor, D minor, G. This happens. Notate your charts really well. Okay, D minor, A minor. So, and then D minor to G. Here we go. 4 chords total for our intro. 1, 2, you got it. 1, 2, 1. Sorry, my bad. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. G. D minor. Here we go.
Black, black, black is the color of my true love's hair. Her lips are like some rosy fair. The prettiest face and the neatest hairs. I love the ground whereon she stands.
Sweet. Okay. Great. That gives us a little sense of like how that can live out, right? And if we got rid of those guitars, it would still work great. In the B flat, after we do B flat, C, the F chord, you can can drop a really low bass, but sometimes that's not the best option, right? For voice leading, we want to keep our lines pretty nice. So I'd go to an F here, and I love an inverted major chord. With an A in the bass here, it's going to walk back to our B flat. That's a really nice place to actually leave that phrase. So that's how I'm going to suggest we do that phrase when we're plucking F, A, B flat. And then do a cascading roll downward strum. Yeah? To get back in, right? What a really rich way to address a strum, right? To come down to our bass note. It's a very wonderful, momentum-filled way to get there. So let's take that through one more time, okay? And if you want to experiment with anything else, you can throw in some additional strums if you're feeling it, right? Or if just giving you options for leveling up, okay? I'm going to stay right on our same part. But feel free. Here we go. Beginning again one more time through this verse. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. G. Verse.
Black, black, black is the color of my true love's hair. Her lips are like some rosy fair. The prettiest face and the neatest hands. I love the ground whereon she stands.
Cool. Great. Great. So we can carry that approach through the whole tune if we want. That's a really rather full accompaniment, right? If we stripped out one or both of these guitars and just accompanied the voice, which we can try in a little bit, we'll find that that's rather full. Let's take our bows for a moment. Let's try the same figure with our bows, okay? What we're going to find is that it's a little easier to... Right? And once we get the vocal in, I'm going to kill the guitars and see if we can just accompany the voice only with just this and see what that feels like, okay? Great. Here we go. So beginning again, same thing with bows now. And feel free to embellish however you'd like. And if you're like moving on from this already, then I would encourage you to play into the open space between the vocal. And you're going to make use of D dorian or D minor, probably D dorian as you feel appropriate, or the pentatonic, right? Looking for melodic opportunities in there, okay? Cool. But so us basics, we're going to be down here working our bow in the chord pattern. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Black, black, black is the color of my true love's hair. Her lips are like some rosy fair. The prettiest face and the neatest hands. I love the ground whereon she stands.
Yeah, nice. So one thing we can consider between the pizzicato and the bowed version of this is that one or the other might feel to you like a level up in energy. So as you're thinking about it being a side cellist and you're thinking about arranging, if you're in a really spare arrangement, meaning like it's just you and a vocalist, holy cow. Or maybe it's a singer-songwriter and they've got a guitar and you're the only other instrument. This is one great way to develop your sound. Just take it from pizzicato to bowed, because the bowed adds so much breadth and resonance to the whole thing, right? It really does take up more sonic space. So that can really read like an intensification of your arrangement. So we can switch to that at verse 2, for example. So, great. Now, if you're really just in the mid texture, say you've got a bass player, right? You might be doing these. Right? You might be doing that, or just, right? We can do long tones in the inner, right? So the way we're going to fill in our chord texture is by finding ways to express the harmony. So the first thing you should be thinking about in a traditional tune like this is, what are the roots and thirds? Forget about fifths. What are the roots and thirds? And you're looking for paths through those. Okay. So I'm going to decline to have us go through that path right now. But that would be one thing you can really do to carry yourself through an entire tune as a really, right, on a D minor, you're going to the A minor, D minor, I'm playing an F, right? Because that's the third of the chord. So, right, and you might even hear black, black, black is the color, or like her lips are like some rosy fair, right? So in those long notes, mid-textured cello is going to do great in a harmony roll, even, right? So there's some crossover there too. Okay. But we might be using some of our, rhythm workouts are great fodder for this. Like page 3, we could use our clave, or even a half of a clave, right? Like just 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2. Yeah, if that's like 1 2 3 4. Right? At the 8th note, right? Or even quarters. Right?
Black, black is the color of my true love's hair.
Something like this, right? Okay, great. So there's lots to do in that mid texture, and I'm blowing way past that, okay? Because I want to hit on harmonies for a moment, and then we're gonna talk about lead. But so again, tonight is an overview. So I'm going to give us a chance to play with the track in just a moment, and pick a lane and try to express some stuff. We'll have lessons to follow this up, okay? Just giving us stuff to think about, okay? Categories for our things, right? So when we're thinking about lead, harmony we've talked about. Harmony we have lessons around, where you're just finding a parallel line or complementary notes and something that's hugging along your melody line. But so that I'm going to also blow past, right? But thinking about lead is really incredible stuff. Like right at the very beginning, we have to think about everything. It's our intro, and our melody is melody-esque at the very beginning, right? So let me give an example, and what I'm going to have us do is play through the whole track, 2.5 minutes, and we're all going to fill. I'll leave space. You're going to fill into the gaps, right? Move into the open space between the vocal. Okay, so here we go. So this is what I would kind of do. Maybe is one time at the very beginning, right? So I'm setting the texture, and then I'm going to come in with some lead in between the vocals. Just listen to this. 1 2 3 4.
Black, black, black is the color of my true love's hair.
some of an idea, right? So there's a little bit of moving between some harmony during the vocal, trying to play down, get out of the way, and then in the space in between, moving into something a little more active, right? And getting into the lyrical space of the cello, right? D and A string. So that's something to play with right now. So you might even notice I kind of did some very slow, gentle things to start. So I want to encourage you to think about what kind of things can you do in this key, right? Arpeggio motions, pentatonic motions, or something scale-wise. If you're totally freaked out, just pick one note and see what happens, right? And then keep playing that note until you can think of the next note that you might want to go to, okay? And so if this is, if you want to level up to intermediate or even a little farther, right? Think about what non-chord tones are going to be the most interesting and what might sound beautiful to you, right? Over a D minor, get away from F and D and A. You might play a sixth or a ninth, right? Or a seventh. You might even try C sharp in there. What would that sound like, right? It shouldn't. I don't think there's too much going on in the extended harmonies in the guitars, so you should be able to explore a lot of that. So play around with some non-chord tones if you want to be in your level up space right now. We're going to go ahead and take some lead texture. I'm going to play our good old bass line. If you want to be there with me, that's fine. But this is creating space for lead exploring right now, okay? So get out of the way of the vocal, fill into the gap in between, okay? Great. Here we go. We're going to do, let's do 2 verses of this whole thing. Just give us some nice space, okay? Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Black is the color of my true love's hair. Her lips are like some rosy fair. The prettiest face and the neatest hands. I love the ground whereon she stands.
Interlude, D minor, G.
I love my love, and well she'd know. I love the ground whereon she goes. I shall count my life as well begun when she and I shall be as one.
Interlude. Again. B part, B flat.
The prettiest face and the neatest hands. I love the ground whereon she stands.
Repeat it.
I love the ground whereon she stands.
One more, D minor to G. Cool. I decided to let it go the whole way because it's just a little bit longer than 2 verses. So it gives us a little more space to move into, right? And sometimes if you're not seeing it coming, a longer interlude can feel awkward if you're in that lead role and the guitarist is like dude, take it, just go, yeah, have a solo, and you're, I didn't realize, okay. If you don't have time to quite prepare yourself for that space, it can feel a little awkward. Because again, you know intuitively you want to have a sense of arc. You want to know you can develop yourself through that. So like a solo space, right? So best thing is to just start simple and build a little bit and then land your plane, right? And just keep it simple. Don't overplay. Great. Okay, so when we're thinking about being a good side cellist and arranging, this is the kind of my last main thought for tonight, is that we are essentially an accompanist. So in this case, we've got a melody in a vocal. If you're playing with fiddlers, you've got a melody that's burning like 1,000 notes per second. But you can still grab harmony that's appropriate for the shape that those melodies are making. Land as a supportive voice against those things. So, or if it's your own voice, think about what can my cello do to support my own voice, right? So if I'm singing this without all the guitars, I might think about, black, black, black is the color. I landed on the same note. So I'm going to look for ways to arrange my cello to get away to be complementary. Black, black, black is the color, color, maybe I'll stay up there. Black, black, black is the color of my true love's hair. Her lips, I want to get to that F on the long A. Lips, maybe lips are like some rosy fair. Right? So we're not always thinking about just running a chord pattern. Right? We're looking actually, once we establish a chord pattern, boom, boom, bing, go, dee, go, go, which is super cool. But if you do it for a whole song, it loses its cool because it becomes boring. So whether it's a fiddle tune or it's a song like this, think about staging your accompaniment through your arrangement. And so even within a verse, look for ways to break out of your pattern to do something particular to the tune. So if I'm going, black, black, black is the color of my true love's hair. Her lips are like some rosy fair. The prettiest face and the neatest hands. I love because I'm singing that G and a G chord. I've now hit all three of those notes. Then you're back in your pattern. And then you're into your second verse. I love my love. Right. So, and if whether it's you singing or it's somebody else singing, it doesn't make that big of a difference. But we're going to look for ways to be contextual. So if you didn't catch that, I was just working that D minor chord pattern. And then, right? But I'm just kind of pausing or lingering in my rhythm to grab onto a long note that seems complementary to the melody. Okay, shaping my accompaniment to be complementary. Okay, so and the more particular we can get, the more we're going to sound super rehearsed and practiced and professional. You're also just going to enjoy yourself because you're just nailing it, doing something that just sounds really great. So we're going to put this track back on. I know we've gone a little past an hour, but we're going to keep going just a tad before we break for talkback and questions. But let's put this track on. I'm going to let it run at probably 2 times through the whole tune. So let's think about whether you want to like really dig into your bass roll, your chord roll, or you want to live into a lead roll where you're complementary and living into that open space. That's probably where most of us want to be. But either role or some combination thereof is great, right? But be listening intently and actively. Listen to the track, okay? Thinking about that arc and what do you contribute? Imagine you're in a live performance or live jam. What are you contributing in your moment? When's your moment not to play, right? Don't play the whole time. Goodness, I know it's fun and you're just at home and like whatever, like, but think about the listener's experience and your collaborator's experience of you sitting out for a moment and re-entering. This is wearing your producer hat. When you re-enter, oh my goodness, it's so powerful. So learn when to shut up, right? Play less. This is all great jazz advice too, right? We get this all the time. So cool. Okay. That's what we have for tonight. This is so just overview, right? But I'm excited for talk back because I want to hear your questions. So we're going to run this twice. It'll loop back with a nice long pause and recount off at the end. So here we go. I'm gonna camp out on the bass down here. I'm gonna put my bow down even. Here we go. So join me on bass if you want, or whatever role is appropriate for you for tonight, where you need to grow. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Black, black, black is the color of my true love's hair. Her lips are like some rosy fair.
B flat.
The prettiest face and the neatest hands. I love the ground whereon she stands.
Turn around. D minor to G.
I love my love, and well she knows. I love the ground whereon she goes. I shall count my life as well begun when she and I shall be as one.
Long turnaround. B flat.
The prettiest face and the neatest hands. I love the ground whereon she stands. I love the ground whereon she stands.
Outro. Here we go, coming back to the recount off. 2, 3, 4.
Black, black, black is the color of my true love's hair. Her has well begun when she and I shall be as one.
Long interlude. B flat.
The prettiest face and the neatest hands. I love the ground whereon she stands. I love the ground whereon she stands.
Cool. Okay. All right. So hopefully you were able to lay down something you felt like was cohesive, or at least the beginnings of something. Or if not, you're exploring some new territory for yourself, right? These layers, this bass, mid chord texture, harmony lines, and lead lines are great ways to kind of think about what space you're moving through, whether you're at a jam or you're actually like working out an arrangement with another musician, or you're doing this by yourself, right? Well, that, I think accompanying. Oh, sweet. Thanks, Jackie. One of the things I think is really difficult is when the arrangement or the instrumentation is really spare. So, you know, I do a lot of work with just cello and fiddle, just me backing up fiddle, and then we trade. Getting a fiddle player to back you up sensitively is really, no offense fiddle players, but it's just like really difficult, right? There's not a space that fiddle players occupy very often, and to accompany a cello where it's just low, and it's just like the sonic realities are quite challenging, right? So the diplomacy of asking a fiddle player for what you need is, yeah, it's delicate. And so having somebody who's chill and willing to work at it is really, really essential. So I've been blessed in that regard, and I'm lucky. But so I'm gonna stop our video here for tonight. So adios, anybody who's watching later on replay. Have fun.